All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, March 10th Park and Rec Commission meeting here at the Rosemary Recreation Complex. We do have a quorum and we do have one commissioner joining us via Zoom, so it will be a roll call vote tonight for any items that need to be voted on. Going through the agenda process that we have the open forum for public comment is that we do have two guests in the audience. We will first have, I'm sorry, you didn't get your name? Stephanie Foreman. She's here just having a public comment about the Newman playground. So if you can please come on up. Like I said, we'll allot you 3 to 5 minutes and just you can talk about it. And if we decide to move this forward to a possible agenda item later down for a future meeting, we will do that. So if you can also, Stacy, pull up the picture that you had pulled of Newman, just so we can have this as a reference, that would be great.
All right, I'll go ahead and begin. So good evening, thank you. My name is Stephanie Foreman. I'm a Needham resident and I'm a mom to 3 girls. I have a first grader and a kindergartner at Newman, and I have a 2-year-old at home. I also am serving in my 2nd year as the Newman Parent Teacher Council Vice President. Will be taking over next year. So I spend a lot of time at the school. I'm here to share my concern just on the state of the elementary school playground turf and also the kindergarten playground equipment. Currently, there are 9 holes in the turf throughout the playground of various sizes. I went Saturday and took pictures. One was measuring 42 inches long. These are definitely trip hazards for children, and kids continue to pick at them because it's what they do, making them even bigger. This is concerning. There are 621 kids at Newman that share that kindergarten and for bigger playground area. And also the countless kids who use the playground on the weekends and after school hours. I'm asking the Parks and Rec to help replace the turf or patch or even potentially find a different alternative. Other elementary schools use wood chips. I know Greensfield has that more robust bouncy turf out there. Additionally, the kindergarten playground space and structure needs to have some, needs to be re-envisioned. The sign actually states it's meant for 3 to 5-year-olds. And most kindergartners will be 6 by the end of the year. The kindergarten class this year at Newman is 112 students, and the equipment does not allow for students to play freely. There are many long lines and congestions on the different playground equipments there. There's not enough swings. As you can see, there's only 3 swings, and teachers do not let students go on the handicapped equipped one on the left. And also the swings are very low, so kids continue to drag their feet. They cannot pump and use the swings effectively when they're out playing. Another issue is the monkey bars, which are further off to the left on this picture. They're only 58 inches high. The average 6-year-old with their arms stretched out can be anywhere from 54 to 56 inches. So you'll see many kids actually walk the monkey bars instead of actually challenging them to grab and swing. So how fun or effective is that? And because additionally, there's just not enough space for all the kindergartners to play in that area during the recess time, kindergartners have to have their recess on the courtyard. The courtyard is in the front of the elementary school building. Actually, part of it has been roped off because of the tree that's in front of it. I think it was deemed one old tree that kids were playing with the bark. It wasn't safe to be there. So they're mainly confined to a small space that's concrete. My own daughter is not very good at making a lot of friends, and without playground equipment, she sits on the wall for most of the 20 minutes by herself, which is very sad to see. The courtyard does not really allow for students to play because there's no apparatus for them to play on. Additionally, the school has asked the PTC to purchase games so kids have something to do during this time. Recess is only 20 minutes, but it's very vital for kids to be able to run and play so they also can have the attention to learn in class. I'm asking Parks and Rec to please, at a minimum, either raise the swing height and then potentially also allocate funds for envisioning new playground equipment that is similar to Broadmeadow or Sunita Williams. If you've never been to either of those playgrounds, it's vastly different than what Newman has right now. Also, Newman being the largest elementary school in the district. All the teachers that I've spoken to and the assistants that monitor recess would like to see the playground fixed and re-envisioned. And I know many parents would as well. So I'm also asking on your behalf, if you've never been to the playground, please go see it and see what you think. It's really kind of, it needs just some love so our kids can have the best experience that they can. And again, really the way that it's set up, similar to other schools, is the bigger playground is 1st through 5th grader, the smaller is for kindergartners. So our children and the Newman children specifically deserve to have a great space too. So thank you very much for your time and listening.
Thank you. Thank you. You took notes of all those, or actually it's been recorded too.
Recorded, and
Record.
Nikki's taking notes.
Perfect. Hi, Nikki.
Can we put this agenda item for us to talk
Yes.
about as a commission?
Yep, I'll put it
Okay.
under discussion items.
Okay.
And Stephanie, also just to let you know, we do look at not just playgrounds, all the fields with items like this, that believe me, it's not just kindergartners or 1st graders ripping up stuff. We have high school students ripping up stuff.
Oh, I-
off fields. So believe me, it's,
I mean, I've been to Hughes Field on
Mhm.
release days and, you know, I know that they're looking.
It is, yeah. It is something, I mean, the more wear and tear that have, it's gonna get. Yeah, I don't say shorter shelf life, but the more it gets used, the more it's gonna have to be looked at and worn down. But yeah, we're always looking for input, especially to, you know, have a collaboration with a PTC, especially, you know, with the school organization just helps because. When we do projects, we like to reach out to the user groups that, and ideas that we might have as a commission. Could be one idea, and then ideas from the public is where obviously we want to bring on too, because maybe there's something that we're not thinking of, or maybe there's something that. Can be done, or certain things that can't be done because of regulations, but this is one of the things we want to keep the open communication about. But we can definitely put this as a open agenda item and discuss it at a further time, and if we do have a particular date. That we want to say focus on playgrounds, what we can do is we can reach out to you, and I would ask, you know, when we do have time as the commission to check out the areas, because as I said, pictures are great, but to actually. Physically see it, you know, it's good to kind of see with our own 2 eyes. Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. All right,
Appreciate
great.
it.
Anything else for open public forum? We got everything else, so now we're just meeting guests. Sheets back again. Fantastic. We will go into the director's report. Now, tonight we have our assistant director on vacation this week, so Stacy's gonna have to handle it by herself.
Do my best. Thank you very much. So. We did a little bit of, added a few things and got some input from the staff on some other things, for the director's report, trying to pull it all in, because as you guys might know, next week is when we start summer camp registration. And so winter programs are basically buttoning up in the middle of March. Our spring programs will still start usually right after April vacation, but in the middle is when we start doing the, camp registrations and pool membership. We may have to hold off on swim lessons. We're trying to crunch the data on the number of swim lessons we had and where we were not fully, filling our classes and where we were, so that we're not stretching the limited staff that we have too thin, because we are struggling to get staff so far, but, since January 1st, we've had over about 836 registrations for a combined revenue of $67,000 or more. Currently there are 4 car washes requested, and I'm sure there will be more on the way. We usually get a whole bunch.
I was gonna say, that seems very low.
It is, but the car washes have been interesting this year well, obviously we have moved it to the high school. There are high school events we have to move around and make sure that we don't book anything such as graduation, SATs, Memorial Day tournament. But we also have in the summer where there sometimes are more, we are having 2 major construction projects at the high school. One is ours at tennis courts. The other one is on the other side, is the main staircase, or the front side. I don't know. They always say the front. I don't know if that's
That's
The front is Webster.
The other,
That's not the
No,
side
no,
facing
it's
there.
the big-
no, it's the
Is-
big one.
So the big.
Other one.
Yep,
So like
that's what I
stone,
thought.
yeah, it's like the original.
So those are crumbling and they are fixing those, and they're gonna do them in the summer too. So I think there's a lot of people like what is happening at the high school. So
Okay.
there's some of that.
But that
It's,
wouldn't restrict the,
it shouldn't restrict the car wash.
right.
The only problem is to make sure that we can get our trucks in and out through Admiral Gracie, because that is the exit for Admiral Gracie, the car washes.
Mhm.
It's also been frozen and freezing, and there hasn't been a lot of movement in anything spring or summer, so we might see more of that hike up this week. Like I said, spring programs will be in, it started April. Registration is looking good for those programs we have added on. As a reminder, we are not running Tennis Academy this year because of the court project. The other thing we're not running right now is engineering summer. Last year was our first year. It was pretty well populated. The problem is we don't have a staff member this year that can run it appropriately. So we had a science teacher running it last year, and so we have not been able to find anybody. And so if something comes along at the last minute and we can throw it together, we will do that, but I'm not comfortable registering for something we don't have.
So we didn't outsource it, we didn't use outside vendor, we.
No, it was our own staff that was like, in their last year of college and they just loved it. And it was awesome, but we don't have any of that right now. And if we do, like I said, we can make the pivot, but I would rather not have to refund people and say later that we didn't find anybody. And we're continuing to work with public schools, to work on the staffing needs as we collaborate with their extended school year program and their bridges program. Those are the kids that get, programming and, academics throughout the summer, and then they come to, in the mornings, and then they come over to us, or some of them can come over to us for the afternoons and join camp.
Do you think we'll have enough staff to service that group?
We won't, so the first couple of years, we basically serviced about 40 kids from them. Last year, they brought in another vendor to outsource some of the kids. So last year we hired for 40 kids and we ended up getting 15. So with the staffing shortage, I said, we're gonna start at 15 and I'll staff for that and we'll see where we go from there, because we don't have the extra staff, and I know it's hard to imagine, but when teenagers don't have enough to do, because there's too many of them, they tend to not do anything.
No.
I know, it's weird. So there was a lot, they're trying to like thread the needle between those two concerns. Questions on programming? Great.
No, that's good, okay.
Fields and facilities, so, Parks and Forestry and Parks and Rec meet every Monday, just to go over the week stuff, and what we are working on is, I guess Patty sent some slide deck out, and I have looked it up years ago. It's slightly outdated, there's a little bit of Calvin and Hobbes in there. About why we hold off on opening the fields, even though it might look nice. And we've already had a freeze.
Mhm.
Looks like we're gonna have another thaw, but the soils and the grass and everything else is just not sturdy, and we've already had people on there, we've already been kicking people off. Woo's already kicked somebody off playing golf, it's just,
Playing golf.
it's not,
Oh,
never
please state
ending.
where were they playing golf?
Hillside, cricket.
What?
So.
Yeah,
We're gonna send something out that's like, please help us protect these, because if you ruin them, they're ruined for the season.
Yes,
If you ruin them in the spring.
I'm glad you're working on your handicap, but
Yeah.
now you've handicapped.
So we are working on that. And Woo's just like, he can't believe it. He sends us pictures. He's like, I don't understand.
Well, I saw a car on DeFazio, like a minivan, I was like, what, but it was the fence.
On the field?
Well,
Oh,
they were too-
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's that
There
time.
was a couple weeks ago, there was a bunch of high school kids that rode around the track in their car.
What?
They were stopped by the police.
Please say they were ticketed.
They were not ticketed.
Damage, did we have damage?
On the.
There was
actual
no
track of the
damage. They
car?
were very lucky because the ground was so frozen. But there was no snow, but yes, they drove their cars around the track.
How did they, oh, you mean like around the fence, like in the
No, no.
perimeter?
Oh, like on the track,
How did they get in front?
there's a
The
gate
gates are
Where is
all
he
open.
at the end.
Yeah, at the end, yeah. Oh, my
Yes.
God. Wow.
The phone calls I get on the weekend are bad.
Well, isn't this also not to kind of go down this road, but we also got a report is that with the thaw and then freeze that we had, how Memorial looked like a natural skating rink.
Yes.
That we
Yeah,
had to
they
send out a
did spend a lot
report
of
to
time
get people to
kicking,
not skate.
Most bizarre.
But it wasn't on-
I
I know,
know
that
that, and
was
I was like,
extreme.
what?
But
Yeah.
did we
Don't
have anybody,
skate
or
on the
was it,
field.
or was it just St. Sebastian's, or did we have anybody skating at Memorial?
We had parents skating at Memorial
Yeah.
with their children.
What?
And I
On
was
the
like,
artificial turf.
Yep.
yes,
on the
I was
artificial
like,
turf.
you cannot, and their complaint was none of the ponds are cleared off, and I was like, Rosemary Lake is, I just came from
So
Yeah.
there.
let's ruin the carpet.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, let's go.
tennis and pickleball courts, I did just, tried a pilot. And apparently me and Mother Nature did not get along, because last year I closed the tennis courts and we got no snow, and this year I kept them open and we got. So now that the thaw is happening, the courts are technically open, we're gonna have, Lou go through and double check them and see if there's any parts we need to clean, or WD-40, or
Any
replace some
cracks.
nets, or, yep. The pickleball nets are still in storage, although we just did get 8 new nets, they have been delivered. So they're in the boxes, Chris is gonna go through them, and bag them and tag them and make sure that they're all set. We went with 2, as far as I'm concerned, very high-end pickleball nets, and then 6 mid-range, because I was not convinced that the 2 high ends were really gonna last longer than anybody else, and if I am wrong, I will happily purchase 6 more. And if the other ones last longer, then we'll switch back to those, and figured it was a fair enough.
It's an experiment.
Yeah, I mean, they're not inexpensive and they stay out all year round, like all season, so I wanted to make sure that they were really gonna be, and we don't have any place to store them.
Mhm.
And we can't, these are not easily broken down or like, other than moving them up against the fence, they're not easy to be stored. So we'll see. Pool. We are looking to open the pool as early as May 17th. That is not full time. We will not be opening the pool full time. We will not be open 7 to 7, as you will find out later. We are having a lifeguard shortage this year.
Wow.
But we are talking about trying to open it for lap swimming.
Great.
And ice bath challenges too?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, those people, they're crazy. They'll go out there. It does not matter.
Great.
It's not the earliest we've ever opened it, if we do open at May 17th. Because we
As
usually.
far as I
target-
know,
I think.
because it's usually Memorial Day weekend, so we're gonna see, we're gonna try it, see if it goes, if we don't have enough staff, we don't have enough staff. But it will also give us some time, and I am sorry for them, but it will always give us more time on the weekends to train our staff.
Mhm.
Because our kids don't get out of school, and it's really hard to find training in daylight hours.
Yeah.
In our pool, because we usually open right away, so this will give us some time where our, veteran staff can come back and help us staff the pool while we're training, because while they come to us trained with a lifeguard certification, I have been in the pool aquatics industry long enough to know that you still train them once you get them, and you train them on your specific equipment, so not just want to make sure that whatever instructor was very thorough, but also want to make sure that they know how to use our core equipment and our boards, and how to save somebody off the diving board. And not a lot of pools have a 0 entry right now, and so they need to figure out how to do things like that, so.
2-part question to ask. I would assume the pool can handle an earlier opening, meaning equipment wise, structure wise, I would hope so. Does that also kind of help Weston and Sampson in regards to opening the pool? Because if we're gonna be opening it on the early side, because I know they probably have commitments of other pools that they're
Weston
opening.
Sampson is on notice that they need to open the pool
Okay.
on May 17th.
Got it. So, and no,
Actually, the weekend before, so we can get it tested,
okay,
but yes.
perfect.
Summer staffing, so these are the numbers we have versus the numbers we want for both camp and pool. As you can see, the lifeguards are our biggest concern. Chris likes to do all of his hiring and then put people in places, because, which I can understand, because some staff shouldn't be arts and crafts, and some staff aren't gonna jive well with the kids off Broadway kids, so.
Mhm.
He's actually further along, but he's still trying to map out where his staff goes, so he's in really good shape. We're in okay shape. I will not feel good until that number gets closer to 40. for lifeguards.
So 21 out of 47 to me looks like not okay shape, but
No.
it seems like concerning.
Those are 21 confirmed, and
Okay.
I know this week there's probably 9 or 10 interviews
So
with
maybe-
lifeguards.
okay.
And I know I just saw an email going around about the applicants can sign up on Sign Up Genius for an interview slot, so that
Okay.
also went out. We are getting more, Kristen, Hannah, and Grace have been going up to the high school in the afternoons with like a table, and so we're getting some kids hitting the QR code and then applying that way, so. But yeah, I'm not yet super loving it.
Question to out of the staff that you have there, so let's take away lifeguards, what's your next concerning one? The maintenance crew? I mean, because other ones you have 3 of 3, 6 of 6, I mean,
WSIs.
okay.
So often when if we're a little bit short on a WSI, I can train a lifeguard to help teach lessons, but I can't train them if we don't have.
Got it.
And I can't pull it from one.
Do you think, how much of a role do you think the salary plays?
I think this is the first year it's playing a significant role. I've already talked to, a couple lifeguards have left us and they're like, it's a better opportunity. And I have said, please put care with me. Is it salary? And they said, yes. I've reached out to the towns around us. We are the lowest paying. We have been the lowest paying in the last 3 years.
Wow.
For whatever reason, we have kept the staff and now either the staff are moving on or they're like, wait, I could do the same thing and get paid more.
So should we think maybe if the commission now
Mhm.
trying to elevate this issue? To say, can we pay some bonuses? Can we pay a higher rate? Well,
We
like
did
what
that
can,
before.
right, so can we do something this year that, because we're already into, the middle of March.
So I did speak with HR about whether or not I could. So there's a Schedule C on HR's website, which basically year 1, you get paid this, you come
Yeah.
back year 2, you get paid this, and so on. I have talked to them about like having to bump up everybody, new,
Mhm.
returning an extra bump. So if you're coming back for your 3rd year, you'd get paid at your 4th, and if you're coming in as a 1st year, we'd
You'd
pay
get
you
paid
as a
second.
2nd. Bonuses and things like that are. On paper, they're really good. They're really hard to make equitable. So what we found is like. When Patty had the bonuses, it was like if you work until August, you get a bonus of, and I have no idea what it was, $100, right?
Right, it was a few $100s,
Mhm.
right?
We'd have kids taking 3 weeks off in July, but working in August.
And then getting that
Okay.
bonus.
Get the bonus.
Well, is there anything that we as a commission can do to elevate this issue? Because I think that town.
It would have to go
town
through
me-
HR, so it's gonna have to be, it is an HR conversation, I have to get the okay. I did already give them the heads up. The fun fact about working in Park and Rec is the salary scale is going to bump up July 1. So we're gonna hire at one rate, they'll be that rate for a month, and then they'll get a new rate.
Another bump.
So you certainly can talk about that in the hiring process.
We can talk about that, all the staff knows, it's not something like we have to do, it just happens on July 1st, it's interesting.
Well, one of the reasons I'm asking Stacey is in the past, former select board members felt very free and they had the right to call us and complain if we weren't staying open long enough, if we didn't have enough lifeguards, if we weren't offering enough. And I don't mind going to them and saying, hey, we need help. And we need your help, because this is a
Yeah.
different route than what you take, right? You're taking it through the proper
Right,
channels.
yeah.
But we can, not that it's going to be effective, but it could be, we can
I think
take it that way.
Anything help at this point? One of the things we are doing is in Massachusetts, you can't be a full lifeguard until you're 16. You can take the course at 15 in 9 months, but you can't be a full lifeguard until you're 16. What I talked to Weston, and what they do is they hire junior lifeguards between 15 and 9 months and 16 and have them be the slide monitors. So train them on slide stuff, like instead of having
Mhm.
select board members.
Mhm.
They have people that have taken the lifeguard course that are certified to save lives and just have them focus on the slides.
Mhm.
At the top, not the bottom, until they turn 16. And so there's probably 2 or 3 kids that we're aware of. That are in that, but they turn end of July, they're turning 16, but we can have them to help fill that spot.
Well, Mr. Chair, I suggest that we as a commission consider reaching out. I mean, the more we can make town government aware that this is an issue, like, they
Yeah.
don't wanna see our pool not open. I would think that maybe the commissioners could
No, I
consider
think it's
reaching
great.
out if we
Yeah, I
feel it's
mean,
appropriate.
Please reach out to any and all.
Yes, I mean, and I've talked to town management, they're well aware. Because I will always err on the side of safety, and I would
Right.
personally rather shut down the pool than be concerned that we're not staffed well.
Mhm.
Uh, because,
Commission is
doesn't
obviously
take-
feel
Yes.
that same way.
yeah,
It's
and
important.
so. Or cancel swim lessons in order to just lifeguard the pool, but then that creates another problem down the road, right? Then we have
Right.
kids that can't swim.
Right,
So-
which our goal is to always, have
Always,
every kid swim, right?
kids
Every
swim,
kid.
but I mean,
Yeah.
Hopefully
100%
every
behind
adult
that.
too, but at least every kid, right?
So that's staffing and we are getting there, but it's always. This is the time of year where I start to get an ulcer and I really freak out,
Just this time?
just this time,
Okay.
okay, it's a new ulcer. And then around June 10th, it's like, oh, we're fine. And I'm like, now I'm just chasing them for paperwork, I'm not chasing them for
Right.
humans, I'd rather chase them for paper.
Right.
But you had said in the past that on this date, traditionally, you didn't have that said ulcer, or if it was way smaller than.
No, we just had we don't have a lot of people coming back.
Mhm.
This is a big changeover year and it happens every 3 to 4 years where like a whole bunch of them are. They become too
Job.
cool for us, or they're starting to get a job or an internship and we just lose them.
Okay.
Our budget goes down because we have lower paid people, but
But we wanna run the pool.
we want
Yeah.
to run the pool regardless.
Okay,
But any questions on staffing?
keep us posted.
CPC for budget and finances, we presented, CPC presented. whew, last week
That's,
to FinCom. I was on Zoom for both Action Sports Park and the Elliott stuff. It was just
it's stuff.
Elliott School renovations, fields and playgrounds, whole thing. It went fine, not too many questions. Of course, I did go after 2 housing projects, so by the time I went, they didn't have too many questions, other than, the biggest question is still why the high design costs for the Action Sports Park
Mhm.
and the pickleball courts. And I did have a ballpark number of, it's basically 2/3 versus 1/3, so it's
Mhm.
2/3 of the cost is to design the skate park, and 1/3 is to design the pickleball courts. And like I said, there's just far less skateboard designers. In
Mhm.
fact, the ones that have shown an interest are from the Midwest or Canada. There are no skateboard park designers in New England. There's actually, like, we're an up and coming area for parks, but we don't have any. Like Asa that was here, he's from the Midwest. He's doesn't. He's not from around here, so that's the biggest problem.
Isn't also, I'm sorry, the reason for the higher cost is because of the severity of Claxton, of all the work that we have going through with the, what is it?
DEP.
DEP, that it's not like a normal field, that there are certain, I don't say restrictions or rules that we have to follow just because of everything that we have done with
We
DEP.
asked, CHA, who did the feasibility study, to price it as though we would have to reopen all those permits.
Okay.
So that we would be prepared if we had to. We're hoping that we do not have to. But there's,
Yeah.
it's also surrounded by conservation land, so there's gonna be permitting regardless. But we wanted to be aware going into it, what the cost might be if we have to reopen it.
Okay,
In the design of a pump park versus a skate park, are we looking at kind of the same, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
As far as I know too, yeah, I was hoping if you knew.
The pump park is more flat
Yeah.
or lateral, and the skate park, it's more
Got the
vertical.
elements, oh,
That is the simplest way I could probably explain it.
did you use your hand motion too to do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good, just wanted.
We have our CPC meeting, the public hearing, where the public can come and comment on Wednesday. We have been getting a few emails. I meant to send those around, about, from people that cannot attend,
Mhm.
but I've been collating them into one, Word document for you
We'd love to
guys.
see them.
Yep, so I can send those over. We may get more after the public hearing as well, but we did send out, a butter letters to Claxton and to Elliott. To the 300-foot radius for both of those, so.
What time is that and where?
7 o'clock. I believe it's gonna be a PSAB, but
That I have, yeah, I put it down for 7 in the PSAP, and I probably got that from you, Stacy, so.
yeah, I can look it
I'm
up.
pretty
and
sure
double
that's
check.
where it is.
I don't have. I mean, maybe Jim knows since he's on.
It's in, it's at the Public Works Building, whatever that's called.
He's out.
Great.
Okay,
Thanks,
perfect.
Jim.
If anybody has a chance, I mean, just to show the support, I mean, it's more of just questions that CPC will pretty much answer, but they might default to us
Yep.
with some questions that they don't have the answer.
I will be
to.
there in person, but it will also be on Zoom if
Okay.
folks want to weigh in on or just watch.
Perfect.
And then lastly, on fall field fees, Nikki pulled these numbers for me earlier last week. Since October, we've collected $30,000 in administration fees and $75,000 in maintenance fees.
Wow.
For those of you that don't understand, I'll just go through it one more time, but every fee is split. Sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 50-50, but some money goes into the admin fee that stays with Park and Rec.
Mhm.
The other money goes into the field maintenance fee that generally ends up going over to Eddie to like put down new turf or seed or in the spring, we get a bill from Tom Irwin, which is aerating and seeding and all kinds of stuff for about $130,000. And so that money that we collect from the field maintenance fees goes directly to that. And we've also collected 31,000 in light usage fees, just are the fall numbers only.
That seems like a lot. I mean, I know you don't have the numbers in front of you. I'd love to see what the trend is for the last few years and what we
For the
had
fall, for lights,
for lights in the fall, yeah.
the light fee is a little bit skewed because I believe some of them are paying for spring and fall at the same time.
Okay,
And everyone's been billed. It should have been billed.
Mhm.
Yep, Nikki has been killing it, trying to catch us up.
Thank you, Nikki.
Questions on budget or finance?
No, keep going.
The last thing, well, one of the last things is the Claxton project. These are the dugouts. So the dugouts have been delivered to both fields. They are there.
Fantastic.
We had a meeting on site Friday.
They look good.
Another one this Friday, or you go do it every 2 weeks?
This next one is gonna be the 28th.
Okay.
We did check on, it was funny because I think 3 people went up in the stands to make sure that they could see the
Appreciate
batting box.
Appreciate that.
And so we had to move the stands like 6 feet to the left, but it's still on the pad and that's all that matters. So we wanted to make sure. What is interesting, if anybody comments, is if you look at the top picture. The
Top
fence
right.
height, top right, the
Yeah.
fence height for the batters, for the
Dugouts?
dugout, 2 feet shorter than McLeod. So
Really?
when you're up in the stands, sometimes that bar is like, if you're doing one
Yeah,
of these,
you're-
like you're up and under,
Line
up
your
and under.
vision.
Just the way the specs work, that's what was there, so we probably spec'd it the same. Just, it's an interesting, because we have the exact same dugouts at McLeod. The benches are being delivered end of the month,
Okay.
is what Kevin said.
And question related to the stands. So there won't be any pads in front of the stands?
Correct, these are
No
all,
pads
because
on
there's a
these
fence.
fields.
correct, old school chain link.
The next thing in the document are all the numbers. I've been slowly taking the winter numbers out, so this is gonna look a lot different than last month's. Percentages, basically, so. But. Right now, we have about 500 participants out of about 1,200 seats, so. Pretty good, especially since we don't have a ton of registration for the spring programs yet. But overall, our programming is going pretty well. And already the vacation programs have jumped.
Good.
And that is it for my packet. The only other thing that's the very next page is the meeting dates. I just put that on there because we have
Thank
2
you.
meeting dates that we need to change coming up in the next month. So in April, we have to change the one on the 14th, and in May, we have to change the one on the 26th or cancel. 14th is Patriots Day and the 26th is Memorial Day.
And isn't candidates night the 24th, is it? So it's at the same time,
Candidates on March 24th.
yeah.
So that's our next meeting.
Yes, it
Correct.
is.
And
You're right.
Cindy and I are-
Right.
All right, when we get down to the meeting dates below. We'll put a pin in this one.
Just wanted to make sure.
No, it's great having the whole year in front of us,
Yeah.
which we know there are gonna be changes here or there, but to kind of plan out. At least have a ballpark of, okay, Q1, Q2, all the way.
And I did reflect some of the religious holidays that the town is now asking us to make sure that we're aware of and try not to plan meetings if we can avoid them. And so this brings all of that into context.
Okay,
And that's it.
perfect. All right, thank you very much for the director's report. Discussion items. I know Cindy, you had sent out an email in regards to our commission policies, and thank you very much for keeping us up on that one.
For our goals.
For our goals, yes. So, which I consider our goals part of our policies too, because I think they go hand in hand. So in your hand, you have our goals from 23 and what we're trying to overlap for also 24. Which now we're into 25, so we need to update these.
We're about to hit 26 in July.
But at least we've accomplished some.
Mhm.
So I was happy to see.
Yes,
some.
definitely.
Some will carry forward and some maybe we will rethink.
Which we know some of the things like, we know as always, as we can see the ongoing goal of trash. Always gonna be, staffing for lifeguards, always gonna be a goal type of thing. But if there anything new that we kind of want to add, and I mean, I know we just got these tonight, but if we can all take a look at these and. Any that we need to kind of strike from the list or ones that we need to add, we can definitely do that. Maybe at the next meeting, any ideas that come up, we can kind of spitball what we want to plan for 25 and 26.
So I was gonna say, I don't. I'm not sure that you can vote on them because they weren't listed as a discussion item specifically, but I did want to get them in front of you so that you could have them and then you could think about them, and then if there are changes, you could vote on them next time to
That's
incorporate.
that's what we'd like to do.
And if anybody wants them digitally, let me know. I was just trying to grab them and I just printed them, so. if anybody- so.
Everyone's got a little homework.
Appreciate those.
Okay, going back to the discussion on commission policies, nothing really new for policy wise. CPC, we have the meeting on Wednesday. Jim, I take it you'll be there via Zoom.
Maybe. There's not much for me to do. I'm not.
Okay.
My project is gonna be approved no matter what.
What about ours? You feeling that good about ours?
We should present.
Yeah, you should present ours then.
I think it's against policy to do that.
I know.
What are you presenting, Jim?
It's for the Historical Society. They want
Oh.
shelving.
Yeah.
And they've got a budget. There's money set aside for historical. So
Nobody's going up against it.
Right,
So
right.
nobody's gonna be
And it's
against
a-
it.
I think you're right.
And it's a small amount too, like, isn't it like under $40,000 or something like that?
It's either 40 or 60.
Okay, but, okay, perfect. All right, Memorial Day tournament, we had that on for the discussion item. I thought the conversation was great last time that Mark Miskin was here. I think he understood that. There's going to be price increases. They understand that there is going to be a price increase right now. They're going to pay that price increase, but it is something that the only. Thing I would like to revisit is I thought we stated we look at it every 3 years.
Yeah.
That I would kind of like to look at it every year,
I-
just to
I
see where it is. Now, mind you, we
Absolutely.
might not change something in a year, but it doesn't hurt to kind of look at it every year because you don't want to lock something in for 3 years and then something changes in it that you can't, I don't say take advantage of, but look at, but I think we should look at it every year. And again, we could just overview it, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. But if we do have the right to change it year to year, if something does change, I want to be able to have that right.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
you wanna go? I don't know if there's a way to say this, but. It's great that he lists all the things that they have given to since the beginning of, creation of the soccer club, but. All of the youth programs in town do that sort of thing, and I don't think that one necessarily has anything to do with the
Mhm.
other, so I think. It's important to make that clear moving forward.
I agree. I mean, I think one of the things that we discussed as a commission of, it is great that the revenue that is brought into the town, but. The revenue that brought into the town doesn't pay for the fixing of our fields, and I'm
Right.
just gonna make this up, that Townhouse of Pizza has a dramatic increase in sales. They're not giving us any money to make the fields look better. They're
Right.
taking their profit and doing what they need to do.
Correct.
We need to worry about the fields,
Yeah.
and so it is something that we gotta, take a look at. It's great that other businesses do very well, but we as a park and rec business gotta take care of our fields for everybody else that uses them.
And do we need to vote? Oh, sorry. On the 20, did we say 20,000 or? Did we?
I don't know if.
I think we just agreed to the increase of 20,000 this year, and that was one of the other things of like, I just don't want it to be 20,000. It could be 20,000 next year, it could be 25,000 next year, it could be something that's why we
Right.
wanna revisit it every single year. But as of now, he has an increase for this year.
Oh,
And then
20, total is
to
20,000.
$20,000 from originally $15,000, and then we will do the same thing next year prior to. I would say we'd like to talk to him right after the field summit, kind of like we did this year.
Yeah,
And have that discussion so they're aware of it, so they have the registration, or at least start the conversation before that, Stacy.
yes.
Do you think we should memorialize it in policy? Did you like that? You see how I did that?
Stretch, yeah, you stretch it on that one.
What do you?
But it's a serious question, because it's our largest event on our field.
Mhm.
It is do we put it in an SOP or, I don't know if it's an operating procedure, if it's part of the policy. It's standalone, it doesn't follow any of our
Mhm.
structures. And
Right.
so I don't know if you wanna think about making it a very specific
We should.
Memorial Day
should.
tournament fee structure.
Yes,
Because I try to think about things, policies and positions without the people in place.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
like, the next person that might wanna take it over
yes,
might not be Needham Youth Soccer, it could be Needham
Right.
Youth Lacrosse or
Mhm.
somebody else, but like, what is our giant Memorial Day tournament fee to use basically everything in town?
Would it also be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would ask, what do our minutes say from that meeting? Because what our minutes say should be what we should think about more memorializing.
Mhm.
If it's not in our minutes, then I would be uncomfortable with it. I would wanna revisit what we agreed to kind of specifically.
last
Mark.
month, you mean, or?
Last month.
Last month,
yes,
that's the
yeah,
meeting.
sorry,
Yeah,
Mark,
the month,
yeah.
the meeting that we had with him. I don't know, did we have those?
We weren't
Yeah.
very specific, though.
Was it the meeting that I was,
This is a
You
meeting
were
that you
at
were
home.
on screen, Hannah was running.
Yeah.
the meeting.
Yeah.
so we don't have those minutes, Dom's been out, so we've been.
But we
working
haven't
on
recorded.
Other things, but it is recorded
Right,
and we're
so-
gonna work on getting them done.
So I would,
Yeah.
I would encourage us to review.
But we weren't specific, I do wanna, I remember walking away from that thinking. That I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of resolution, like I think it was kind of, and you guys, Stacy, you guys will listen to it, but I think it was.
You can
Vague.
too.
I
we could all listen
understand,
to it.
I think it was
You're
vague,
all-
I think we said, okay, 20,000
Mhm.
for this year, but then. There was nothing moving forward, right?
Well, because we didn't want
I
to put
would
a number on
listen,
it yet.
again, I would,
Yeah.
we should listen to the meeting. and
Yeah,
be sure that
yeah.
We follow what was said, and if that's not specific enough for us, then we
Yeah.
certainly can talk to him again, or we can
Oh,
go
yeah,
back to
go
him.
back
But
and have a
but I
conversation.
wouldn't, I wouldn't memorialize something that might
Right.
disagree with what
Right,
those
Mhm.
minutes
yeah.
say.
I agree with you, I think we should come up with something so that if I'm not in this seat, or you guys are all not in this seat, that whoever has to pick it up next time can say, oh, well, these are the fees for a Memorial Day
Yes.
tournament, and that's what this is.
Here's the backstory.
So that we're not chasing that.
But then I would agree with you that we should put it into
Our
a
fee
policy,
structure.
yes,
Mhm.
right.
Could we add it as a agenda item to actually talk about it
It
and
is.
what we wanna
Yeah.
charge and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think we could definitely do it. I mean, and I would say. When do you think he starts thinking of their fees for the next tournament? In the fall?
I think he comes out, that was the other thing, I think we should have the conversation with him more like September,
Yeah.
because I think
He
he
starts early.
he starts.
So
early.
that's something, if we are
Fair.
gonna raise a fee, let him know at that time, so it just, again, out of courtesy, we don't wanna hit him with a. Hey, you're getting a price increase in January, and he didn't factor.
For
it
him,
in.
it's like halfway through his registration process,
Yeah.
I would guess, so I think having
Okay.
it done in September as part of one of our meetings.
And also that would be fresh in kind of like Eddie and the crew's mind of like, all right, what worked, what didn't work, because if you go to say, no offense to Eddie in December. Like what worked, what didn't work for soccer, he might be like 4 out of the 6 things that he remembers, and we missed 2 big things that like, hey, we gotta bring this up next year type of thing. So, okay,
Well, I think that's worthwhile doing, and I think there's reference to a lot of contributions to fields or equipment for soccer. that I think he's done in the past. I don't know of any. Like, I don't know what equipment they've bought in 24,
Mhm.
in 23, in 22. I don't know what additional cost or like funding they provided for seating or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think some of the things, just understanding what was that, because if that
Yes.
really
Right.
should offset other things, I wanna understand that, and Mark referenced it, but I wasn't sure exactly what that was. And
Yes.
there's been stuff in the past that's been significant because we just didn't have the
Right.
funding. It's quicker to get, the cash,
Mhm.
but kind of understanding that. And I think that there's ways around too, because I think we don't want to ratchet it up too quickly.
Right.
And that's fair. So, but I'm also concerned about creating a policy around that discussion, quite honestly, because what I don't think we talked through, we talked about how one framework was way too high.
Mhm.
And he like, it was here and this was here. There was no conversation about how do we get to a place where we feel comfortable somewhere in the middle?
Yeah,
And how do we use the numbers and the framework to kind of get to a better place? Or something that can be memorialized. So I think we should like take a pause, read what was in the minutes, and then determine what we do. And then we can talk through how quickly we move, if anything, in terms of a fee increase. But I think we can, at the very least, we should have in writing, whether it's like a letter of like,
Mhm.
this is what we're being paid, this is what we were paid before, this is what we'd agreed upon.
Yep.
And we're agreeing to review it every year, every 3 years, whatever we
Mhm.
decide, so that there is something in writing. Beyond the minutes to
Yeah.
say,
Oh, yeah.
here's like a little like addendum to our policy because
Mhm.
it doesn't fit neatly. But we're reviewing it more.
Well, and I think, I would agree, and it can't be just like 15, 20, 25, because really it should be based on something tangible, like the
That's-
number of teams, or the
Mhm.
number of fields, or the number of hours, or
Right.
something along those lines that get us to a point where, so if, God forbid, some sort of COVID thing happens and he drops off half of his teams, he's not paying the same fee
Right.
as this, so.
There has to be some sort of
Yeah.
calculation.
Yes,
A formula.
exactly.
Really, 5 times you all have to say memorialize after you brought it up?
You
5
will.
times.
I never wrote it in one.
Great job, Stace. Wonderful. Okay. Let us go on to action items and approvals, special event approvals. We have not that many in front of us. Oh boy, I love this new sheet.
yeah.
But it still doesn't have the address. Right. I really just want the address of the person.
Of the person who is sponsoring or.
The Easter egg hunt by Avenue Church. Where's Avenue Church?
But where's Bert
Pause.
from?
Pause.
Avenue
Yeah,
Church.
Avenue Church.
What is that?
I'm just thinking about if it's,
So these weren't in our.
Oh,
I'm trying to
I
think
mean,
about
they
like
don't-
personal identifying
They were actually.
information.
Mhm.
Like if you are requesting a field, do you want your address in our FOIAble stuff? Is that okay?
Well, it's been in there in the past.
We've always had
We've
that.
it in, 'cause it's in
Oh, 'cause it's
the
printed in the thing.
application.
Yes.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So,
Eastern comes by Avenue.
Cause it just
Church.
helps to identify if the individual or the group is
Who is
linked to
Avenue
meet 'em,
Church?
and we don't know, like, I don't know where
Yeah.
Avenue Church is.
Avenue Church is in town.
Okay,
They do. They did volunteer for our family fall festival.
Oh, what's area code 706? What's his area? Is he from Needham?
I guess,
They,
so it's more of a business.
no, it's a church, but they don't have like a
We don't have
brick and
it.
mortar, and I think they borrow
Oh,
space.
Okay.
yeah, alright. Have we done this before? No.
Have we dealt with them before?
First time coming to us.
Avenue Church, their address is Morton Street, 83 Morton Street, according to
Okay.
Google.
You're in Needham.
Greens, I think the bouncy houses and all that will destroy greens, don't you think?
The pop-up tent, not that I don't enjoy a nice cotton candy, but I'm afraid about the trash and the popcorn and everything being on a field like that, even though they say the churchgoers will pick up the trash. And again, yeah, what can we do? Because that is a field that does have irrigation. No irrigation at Greens. I would like to check with the Park and Forestry Department of their ideas, because I know they had put up tents before for YMCA events that I would like to check with the Park and Forestry Department to see what their ideas of where, if there's a suitable area to put the pop-up tents, if, or bouncy house, if this gets approved.
Is there a different location that we could, like the town center? Like in front of. Like a place that's not a field,
An alternate
that's used to having bouncy houses.
I can't imagine they would allow it at, the bouncy houses is not
In the town center.
at the town
Town Common,
common.
we've had bouncy houses at the Town Common,
For the harvest.
The Harvest
Festival?
Fair?
Always.
really?
Right in the
I don't
front.
remember seeing it. I thought the Harvest Fair
My
we moved to
kids
two
go
Greensfield.
All the time.
Me too.
They are now, yes, but they might be.
Okay, we, Okay.
100% sure.
Okay.
Really? So bouncy house.
That may have been before the renovations though. And maybe.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it was. Yeah,
It
Yeah,
might be
it
that.
hasn't.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if it would be feasible since they have the tent up also all year now.
Right now.
It's not up yet,
Yeah.
but it will be, yeah,
Yes, true.
so.
So here's a question. So this church has an address of Needham. It says they actually meet in the Village Club in one of the things here. But this person, if he's not from Needham, don't we usually need a Needham person to
Submitting the request.
submit it? And maybe he is, I don't know. Or Harper.
I think we need more info.
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, listen, it seems very simple of an Easter egg hunt, but there are a lot of what ifs, how about this, what about that, that I'd like to kind of run by Park and Forestry to kind of get their opinion about doing this. Now, with it being the date coming up of April 12th, we need to kind of get back to them relatively soon, because we're looking at about a month away of when they would want to do something like this, so
We
we
also
could,
need insurance.
yes, also needed insurance too.
Yeah.
Board of Health also has to go through with this too. So if this is something that we might be able to work on this week, that we are, I don't want to say in doubt, but just questions that we have about the facility that are beyond our reach, especially with the Board of Health and with Park and Forestry.
When, I'm happy to do that, when I do reach out to them, I would like to let them know if there is a fee and what it
Yes.
would be, and. Based on our fee structure, that is what I put the fee down here. But I just wanna make sure that is correct before I reach out to them and say. These are the things we need to find out
Mhm.
first, also the cost would be this, cause that may be a deterrent.
Deterrent.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you have full support on that one.
Yep.
All right, so we are going to punt that one and wait to hear back from the director.
Mhm.
All right, next event we have is the shredding truck event, and we have done this for.
I'm moving this from your tableau, it has been handed over to the person that runs parking lots.
Ooh.
We have someone that runs parking-
DPW.
Oh, I was gonna say, we have someone that runs parking lots.
Yes, her name is Kristen Wright, I don't know if you. She was like,
She was.
what is happening?
I didn't know that.
She also, she does all the scheduling for the schools now, an event manager.
Okay,
And parking lots do become part of that, so
And it will be handled properly.
it will be handled
Yes.
and we do not have to vote on it and I don't have to deal with it.
all right, strike it from the discussion.
Because there are sports going on in the physio.
She has already tried to connect her to try to go to the RTS that day and say, hey,
Okay.
why don't we do the truck at the RTS?
Mhm.
But she's pushing back, saying that's not a good location, but
Well,
we've already decided that really the only location is Sunita. If she doesn't want to go to the RTS.
Got it.
Kristen and I looked at all
Okay.
the locations that she chose and it came down to Sunita.
And it's a weekend?
Yeah.
What about this one? No, I'm just
There's
saying, well, I'm just
So
saying,
much traffic going.
no, I'm just saying, like, there's no, school, I mean, it's not being used by this, school administration anymore, I mean.
She wants high traffic.
Yeah, she wanted the
Because it's a-
Fazio.
Yeah, because they want the community to see it, right?
That's why we
So in
said, what about
advertising it.
Fazio? And she said, well, can we have Claxton? And I said, absolutely.
Yeah. So you'd have to get, no.
Moving on,
Moving
that
on,
was off
okay.
your plate.
We are now on to the Youth Summer Skills Clinic,
I will refrain.
okay?
I will add that the insurance has been updated.
For the record, every user group's this for the spring, their insurance has expired, every single one. Maybe not yours. I
Thank
don't know.
So July,
But-
July 1st.
Not mine.
Many were, cause they all like, it's whatever day
Yeah.
for a year that you
Yeah.
decide to do it, it's usually right around the spring, so
Mhm.
many of them are expired, and it's just typical. Not,
Okay, this is something that we have done before. It is only a
Correct.
week-long process from 8:30 to 12:15. Fields, from what I remember, are cleaned up and look immaculate at the end. Weather will be monitored. And this is during the summer, so I mean, it's really not conflicting with anything else that we have of youth programs that play either in late afternoon or early evening. There is a charge to this.
Do we have any idea how many participants?
25-ish.
Okay. All right, insurance has been updated. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the youth summer skills clinic from Needham Youth Field Hockey.
Okay, do I have a second?
I was second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will do a roll call vote. Jim, I'm gonna go to you first on Zoom.
Aye.
Michelle Geddes,
Aye.
Cindy Chaston.
Aye.
I am also an aye as the chair, and we have one abstention, so passes unanimously. With one abstention, whatever. Next up, St. Joe's School Field Day. Ah. This one has been coming for years and years and years.
Do they not have, they don't have their own field?
Nope.
They do not.
They have
a-
the ever-
They have a parking lot,
No.
that's what they have.
Oh,
No,
Let's see, Greens Multipurpose Diamonds, it's during the day from 7 to 3. This does not conflict with the schedule of the YMCA,
not during the school day, it doesn't.
okay? Groups
What
not
have we
charging,
done
little
in the
bagging,
past?
removal trash.
We have not charged in the past.
Really?
no, we haven't charged for this.
Didn't we have the discussion that we did want to charge a little bit for
We
the
charged-
maintenance?
We charged the last few years for the field hockey team to practice after
Mhm.
hours. I'm not sure we charged for this. I can go back into my notes and double check,
I don't
but
think we.
if
charged
we
for
did
this.
charge, I don't think it was this price.
Got it. You think it was considerably lower? Which, I mean. I understand they have no field at their school.
but there's. Aren't they?
No.
No.
I thought the
St. Joe's,
school
no.
is more problem.
No.
No, it's a religious.
Oh, really?
Um,
Oh,
No,
That I would look as an option of maybe giving a severely discounted amount. Just because all of our other user groups that use the field have to pay to kind of keep it maintained. I know this is a one-time thing. But doesn't the school also use the field during recess sometimes on some of the nice days? So it's not necessarily just a one-time thing. They've been a very good partner in the community that I don't feel about asking for, like I said, a severely discounted rate. But is, again, the cost of everything is going up. We need to adequately spread the wealth.
I would say since we've never charged them, I would argue, no, that should not charge them. I would not agree with what you just proposed.
Okay,
I'm gonna look back to last year and just make sure we didn't charge them.
if you could. So let's open up for
Because there
discussion.
was a few different events,
Mhm.
and I think some of them we did charge for and some of
Well, they
them.
also do a reenactment, a Civil War reenactment. Sometimes I don't know if they still do that.
Is that the one that we charge for then?
That has not come before me.
they've done a Civil War act?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
They
would
did
think,
it
yeah.
at Greensfield for years
I
and
want to
years,
say,
yeah.
yeah, this isn't the first time that we talked
Yeah.
about charging them, but I mean,
Let me look at if I pull it up now, it'll mess everything up, but,
you don't want to do that,
but I can pull it up and see what they paid last year, and
okay?
the note should be on there about what it was for, excuse me.
Did we allow this last year?
Mhm.
We did?
We've never turned it
We
down.
never.
Oh,
never
so
charged.
then-
Yeah.
We've never turned it down. So the question is whether or not we charged a fee.
I'm just trying to remember,
So.
but I can look up into the system.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion on this is that I will make a motion to approve the St. Joe's School Field Day for the date noted on the submission form. With the contingency of the director looking up to see if we ever charged in the past.
Mhm.
If there is a fee that was charged to them in the past for the said event, please share it with the commission and we will decide at that time if there is a fee or not. I think we should go ahead with the approval of it, but we will decide if there is going to be a fee or not.
Feels like we should go with what we've done in the past, right?
I would agree.
Sure.
Right,
If there
right.
was-
Yeah.
If we did.
If there's no fee in the past,
Yeah.
then great, no fee in the past, we keep it going, but if there was a fee in the past, share with everybody, and if we all agree, hey, the fee is. Again, $75, then great, that's what they paid last year, and we'll do it
I
again.
do think the only time we really charged a fee was when they wanted to have a sports group out there.
Okay.
And you said, you have to pay, everybody has to
Okay.
pay for that.
All right.
Okay for that.
Yeah.
All right, so we all agree with the motion,
Uh-huh,
do I hear a second?
a second.
Okay, we have a motion to second, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote, Jim?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
I'm an aye, Dina?
I,
Aye, passed unanimously. Next up, the athletic competition for corporate and first responders.
Sorry about that.
What should it read? Cops?
Corporate is. spelled
Corporate is
wrong.
spelled wrong.
Yeah, wow, yeah, corporate, I still said it right though.
This is through the Y.
Okay,
The Y is requesting this permit. This is new to us. I don't know if it's new to the Y.
what are they doing?
An athletic competition. That's friendly. And I don't know, I can only tell you what they.
Yeah,
It's on the
geez,
form.
wow, athletic competition on an athletic field, I can't believe it,
Sorry.
I don't know about this,
what's the why?
I don't know.
2 hours,
The group is not charging, so the Y is not
Oh,
charging
okay,
for this
okay.
event. If we were to charge them, it would be the up to 4 hours rate on a grass field. I'm not considering the multipurpose and the diamond separate fields for these types of events, just field.
Right.
Um,
Oh, it's only
the cost will be
Yeah.
$275. The only hiccup is their insurance, and a lot of people do this, and we have to fix it all the time, is they name the public schools as
Yeah.
insured, so we have to get
Yeah.
them to redo it and name the town,
got it,
because it's separate entities.
okay.
How many participants, any idea?
2 hours, I don't expect to be that money.
I'm just wondering how much they'll beat up. this.
I know, yeah.
That's all, just.
No, no,
wondering,
for- yeah, for the 2 hours.
200, right, versus 15.
No, you're right,
Since we don't know what the competition is,
right, I think if we could get a follow-up of how many people and what said competition, oh, people up the screen.
I mean, if it's a frisbee competition, that's great, if it's.
If it's a
I
pitching,
mean-
pitching putt,
Right,
that's good.
exactly.
Lawn darts.
I mean,
Oh, here we go,
I think it's. Okay. I mean,
let's see what they have.
That is the description.
Competition.
wait, what did it say, athletic
It just says same thing.
competition?
It says what it
Yeah,
says under
exactly.
Oh, corporate and first respond, what's a corporate responder?
business,
Oh,
Oh, wait, what are people, 60 people?
60, no vehicles.
They're gonna park it all.
They're
yeah,
gonna park,
exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna pay a wall.
so 60.
Okay,
Big enough.
yeah, good, decent enough.
Okay. What do you think?
We might want more details on what they're doing, what they're gonna be doing on our.
Yeah, I would, yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
like
this
to
is
know.
Paula Jacobson, and I think she's terrific,
Mhm.
honestly, but just a little more description from her,
Yeah.
might be nice.
In any event that she's done, they've always been by the book, everything
Yeah,
that's done. I
right,
mean,
and she's
if you make-
very thoughtful in
she's
what she
good.
does, but it'd just be nice before we agree
Yep.
to something on our field.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
Oh. Sorry, I was
Okay.
reading the next one, I will make a motion,
Okay,
providing that we get more from exactly
On
what
the athletic
they'll be doing,
competition.
right? Okay.
all right, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jim,
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Cindy, Dina?
I,
Chair is also an aye, passes unanimously. Annual Boy Scout Camporee. They changed it from a jamboree?
I know.
No,
No,
it's
you
never
did-
been a jamboree. This one makes me laugh every time. This is the one where Michelle thought we were gonna.
The kids were gonna sleep in the parking lot.
It's.
We were very confused.
Wow.
Very.
Kid hasn't been run over yet, so.
That was the funny part. We got them all.
no,
Cops there?
It came through and I laughed out loud in the office.
All right, so the good news about this is until September, excuse me, so we don't have to worry about this, they're gonna do it at the. They're gonna park by Claxon, so
In Horsford.
in Horsford, so I think we should be fine with something like this, and they've done this in the past.
Yes.
They've done this many years.
Never
There is
been
a technically a charge for the parking lot. We have never charged
I will make a motion to approve.
Second,
Okay,
with or without a charge.
if we've never done it before,
I would say no.
stay consistent,
Yeah,
Fine.
okay,
Want to confirm.
all right, we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All right, now we'll go for the roll call vote, Jim,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Dina.
I,
Chris is also an aye, passes unanimously. Next up, Bay State Instructional Football Clinic.
okay, before we get into this one, isn't this the one where we're talking about increasing the fees and he doesn't wanna pay the fees? Isn't that this?
So, Tom Lamb did come to me and ask if there was any wiggle room in the fees. I said, probably not. I did bring it up at a follow-up meeting after that conversation. You guys agreed. Fee is the fee. I was contacted by a former commission member, because they wanted to see if they could drop the fees. Because it helps our football players. I informed her of the breakdown of non-residents versus residents, and I've not heard from her since, so
A former commission member?
who is now gonna be part of that club.
Oh,
What do we get every Thursday? Electronically,
Hmm?
what do
It's
we?
Fred,
It's Friday?
Oh, it is Fred? Oh,
no,
Fred.
oh, Fred.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah.
so, yeah,
So she reached out and said. She was like, well, what if I wanted to change it? I said, let me know which agenda you wanna be on,
Mhm.
and then I got this, so.
Okay,
I mean, 90% of their players, or attendees are not Needham residents. That's a significant amount, so
Mhm.
that's part of the reason why their cost is so high.
right,
So are they in it, so they're requesting this permit knowing the cost and they're okay, okay. So then I will make a motion to approve it.
yeah, you wanna discuss it first or what? Go
I
ahead,
just need to be reminded, because all the names, I lose track, this is a non-profit.
It's the Bay State where all the football teams in the Bay State
They always
come and it's like
together
a
every year. We've asked
pre-season.
this before. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a pre-season camp or something.
Yeah.
got it.
But they're
Run
in
by an
non,
outside group.
they're a
You can't run it.
nonprofit.
Yes,
yes,
and they've done it for years and
They
years
are,
and
because
years.
they did ask, is there a nonprofit price? I said, yes, the one in front.
That's the one you have,
Yeah.
because if we weren't a nonprofit, we wouldn't be entertaining this, right?
Let me get that for you, it's that.
Yeah.
the only. I don't say hesitation I have this one is, have they always used AZA in the small, that makes a small.
So I don't know, that one I was already gonna talk to them about it being a no-go, because that just got a fluff and buff.
Right,
And so I don't think we need to have a whole bunch of football. I don't know how much they use it. I don't know if they were just like. we
like
want
an
our
area where they can
fields.
sit and rest, I mean, I'd say.
They basically called out every field except the track,
Mhm.
and so. If approved, I will reach out and say you can't have ASA this year.
Wait, what's ASA?
The Little League
Small Little
Diamond,
League Diamond.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
they just did a whole bunch of upgrades to it.
mhm.
Yeah,
We don't need
yeah.
them to be on that.
Right.
And they could use Conroy, just in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also
State.
state, just even though it's not on here, McLeod is not an option.
Yeah,
Right, I was looking
Yeah.
for.
they didn't put one in, because last year he asked and I was like, absolutely.
Sure, I just,
It may have been literally trying to name all of the.
Everything there, so
Right,
they
so
have the
that they
whole
have
facility.
exactly,
Which is like,
exactly.
Not-
So,
probably not necessary, but.
No,
that might
they
be
click
what
it.
they're-
They click, they check it out. So all,
You
of them
know
are all
that.
listed, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
So am I making a motion to approve, pending, or they can use Brock and, or at the director's discretion?
discretion, yes, of
Yeah.
what fields can and can't be used.
Okay,
They need to update their insurance, which.
okay, so I'll
Okay.
make a motion
Okay.
to allow the permit, but as director's discretion for the locations.
Perfect, all right, I have a motion, do I hear a second?
second.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, Jim,
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Dina,
I,
chair is also an aye, so it passes unanimously. All right, that is it for special event approvals.
Yes and no, there's one request at the very last. Page, it is from Hank Half,
From the paper version,
yes. Is it not in your?
I have it, it's a last.
It's a letter.
okay. I was-
Yeah.
okay.
They wanna use the upper parking lot at RC briefly, for some time for parking during a project.
Oh,
It won't start until September, so it will
And
not
the
affect
pool's
the pool
Mhm.
situation, Hank's well aware. And then it would be done by the following January. I personally don't have any concerns. That upper parking lot in the off season is often used by overflow parking from the,
High school.
not even, yeah, right. We're gonna walk that
You're not
far.
walking that.
So-
It's
sorry
the
about that.
library, it's the medical offices, it's Roche Brothers. I don't police it because it doesn't affect us except in the summer.
And
So,
never been an issue.
never been an issue. Once in a while, we have landscaping trucks in there, and so they're
yeah,
using it, they're using it.
Okay.
do we have to make a motion or anything, or no?
But we're not giving them exclusive.
No,
No, we might give them an area that they can leave stuff, but if other cars park there, we're not kicking their cars out.
Okay.
Okay. Do they need, is this an approval or is this more of a request and?
Plus, if you had any like big objections to it, but it's more just to let you know, because you'll drive by and you'll see like big construction dumpsters and be like, what is Stacy doing? And I'll be like, nothing.
Nothing. And I think Hank's been through this a few times. This is
And
his
Hank's-
first rodeo. I think he knows
Hank's been
what
a
he's
little
doing.
off, so he did the thing.
So,
I
okay,
appreciate that he asked and he gave us a heads up.
yes, that is quite good. So, he is the thumbs up on that one. Okay,
Like I said, for meeting minutes, we are working on those. Have been in a mad scramble to try and just cover Dom's duties and, Nikki will be working on those and Hannah when she gets back from vacation.
Mhm.
And then Dom should be back the week after that.
perfect. I see here between the special events and Hank's request, we have the Park and Rec Department user fees. Is this something we need to vote on now, or is this just more of a?
No, that's so that when somebody said, where did you get this number from?
Okay.
It was there.
It's helpful, very
Perfect.
helpful to have
Nope.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay. Any other policy approvals? Nothing to go through there, no fee approvals. We will work on the minutes of the meeting for next time, okay? I guess I'll do this one now. Chairs updates and issues not recently anticipated within 48 hours. I got 4 that I think well, they're easy ones as a matter of fact, I think. And no,
I think I
well,
have two.
well, I think I stole one of yours, so don't worry about it. There was an email that went out from Miles in regards to Stephen Palmer. That we need to have a representative represent the Park and Rec because the Stephen Palmer building will be coming into, I think, the town's ownership within the next year. By default, because the lease is up,
Mhm.
that there's discussion of what can be done to Greensfield. I know this was something that we probably talked about way before
I didn't
COVID.
see that email. Maybe it just
Um,
went
It only went to.
To the chair.
Right, so it is something that, we need to have somebody on that board just to, because it is our parcel of land that abuts it, so of any decisions of, if they are gonna remake Stephen Palmer. Is Greens the site that needs to be the, staging area kind of thing like that, are we gonna lose a field? Anybody is more than welcome to. Put their name in nomination to be part of this committee, but we need to have somebody from the Park and Rec on this committee. So if anybody wants to throw their name in, they're more than welcome to, they can think about it. I'm not expecting an answer tonight, but just put on everyone's radar that I'd like to be, say what?
It's not me.
I
I'll probably be there.
No, yeah, you'll probably be there anyways.
A resident.
I'd like to have a commission there too, so. What we'll do is I'll forward the email to everyone, take a look at it, if someone wants to put their name in the hat for it, they're more than welcome to, if
Are
no
they
one.
looking for a commissioner?
Yes, they're looking for a representative from the Park and Rec. So,
I mean, I think I wouldn't mind being. on.
okay, all right,
If somebody else wants it, I would be
Fine.
happy to step back.
I think he would have the
Michelle,
Park and
Dina,
Rec's
you want-
interested
No.
in best,
Can have
so.
all you.
All right, I will forward it to you, and then I'll let you respond to Miles in regards to that, as we
Okay.
have a rep, okay? Cindy, I'm gonna steal this one from you, is that you had a request that you want to talk about disc golf,
Yes, you can.
floor is yours.
So I received an email from Bob Baker on Friday.
Bob Baker
Um,
is in attendance.
Okay, he said he was going to listen in. He asked what basically what was going on with
Mhm.
disc golf, and I told them, I think we, really have kind of not done anything about that recently, and I think I would like us to take up that agenda item to talk about how we would move forward, and I told him I would bring it to the commission tonight. Not for real discussion, since it wasn't on our agenda, but I would like to put it on
The
our
discussion item.
agenda
Yeah,
for hopefully the next meeting, but whatever meeting you tell me, as soon as we can get it on our agenda.
no, definitely. I mean, especially with the projects that we have going on, and we might be able to team up with something and work something in, but it is.
That's what I was thinking. Can it piggyback on something at Clarkston? I don't.
I mean, we're going through the skate park,
Yeah. I don't know.
proposal, we can start maybe Black, but I mean, it's something.
Thinking. Maybe not Stacy, but I think,
Something
I
right.
think she's gonna cry.
But it is something, yes, we will definitely look into it, because I mean, we did at the one meeting that we had in the very small room, that we did commit to the group that did show up. That it is something that we want to look at, and it is something that we think would be a value add to the community. It's just where it falls in the timeline of that, where we have projects, and after I'm done, Stacy can correct me on everything that we have, but I think we do owe it to the group that we need to give them an update of where we are in the plan to proceed with a project like this. Stacy.
Thank you. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said this time. But what I wanted to say is all of the projects that we're gonna have coming up, we're gonna have working groups and some public input from that. I think that this would be no different.
Agreed.
That being so, it would be probably a different working group than it would be for pickleball and for the skate park. So we'll probably have 3 different ones, and that will take some time in itself.
Mhm.
And we already did get some email feedback about disc golf,
Mhm.
people's feelings from the public, so along with
Okay,
comments from about the pickleball and skate parks,
Sure.
so
okay, so.
that has
you-
come in already.
Yeah,
I'll
that-
be sharing that
Okay,
email,
and then
sorry I
you-
didn't do that earlier.
Would you think that would be an agenda item for next?
Yeah, for our next
Yeah, we
meeting,
can certainly add it as a discussion item. That's
we will
no
definitely have for our
problem.
next meeting.
Terrific.
Okay, third one I have is permits. I see that a lot of the conflict emails went out, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but hey, we have 2 user groups asking for the same spot at the same time. That I think it's great that you let the user groups figure it out. But if it doesn't come to an agreement, it does come back to the park and rec, that I know those emails are going out there. I know we were waiting for some user groups to get their final request in, and also the high school schedule, I think, came out with a few changes.
Mhm.
So I know people are waiting for those to come out, but it's never gonna be perfect, but as soon as I think Hannah comes back from vacation, the permits will go out. Maybe.
I mean, it should go out, if it doesn't go out before Hannah gets
Mhm.
back, it will definitely go out when she gets back.
Okay.
How about that?
Got it.
I've been copied on all the conflicts for obvious reasons, so I've been trying to collate and put everything into the permit schedule when they have come to a resolution. There are a few outstanding ones, but so far
Mhm.
seems okay, seems like it should be able to get out.
And I would say in the years that I've been on the commission, we've never had any permits go out that are ever perfect.
Right,
Because there are
no.
changes, oh, we meant this, not that. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, just with so many juggling.
One of the
aspects.
things Hannah did, and I commend her because I would not have done it. Last week was reach out to some of our bigger special event folks and say, hey, we haven't got an event for you yet. You haven't requested like American Cancer Society with the walk, the overnight walk.
Mhm.
And some of our bigger ones, Sally Bloom's sticks out, although aren't they in September?
That's September.
That's September.
Yeah.
September.
There was another one, and so she reached out to them directly for both of those to be like, hey, are you thinking about this? Cause we need to block it off our
Right.
permit schedule, so
What was the
Kudos to her.
one, like, the 24-hour race?
that's the American Cancer
That's
Society.
America, okay.
The problem with, the only hiccup with them is they
Really?
have a lot of
That's it.
turnover, and so it's almost always a new person emailing us every year, so she sent it to the last year's person and like a generic email box,
Mhm.
trying to find out if they're interested in doing it again. Their numbers have been declining, so.
Really? Well, it used to be such a big event. Well,
Okay.
there's so many events. I have a question.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll say mine,
Actually,
I'll
I
say
think
mine for last.
Stacey, may you answered this, Rosemary, P and L, the finance committee asked for.
Yep.
When you have that, when it goes to them, it would be a public document, so can it
Yes.
come to us so that?
Absolutely. Yep, I put a
Um,
call into Dave, he hasn't returned my phone call, cause I just wanted to check in with him.
Okay,
Cause I was out of the office last Thursday and most of Friday, so I just wanted to touch base and make sure everything was good, if I also made sure I did it right. I haven't done a profit and loss since like economics in college, so.
I mean, if you can share it without it being public, that's fine, but I think once it's going to go to
once it
them,
goes
we
through,
should
but
also see. if the
Yes, we will get it
commission
at
should
the same time.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to add?
No,
All right, the last one I have, and I know that we've talked about this, but I just kind of want to get this one either for future agenda or we're talking about it now is we've all heard the minute issue that we have with McLeod Field. That in case you're not familiar with it, is that we did put the pads up behind home plate and reaching from dugout on first base all the way to dugout on third base. What the issue arose is that with the way that the bleachers were brought in, is that if you are on the first row and you are ADA in a wheelchair or something along those lines, you cannot see over those pads.
It's actually the first few rows.
First
On
few
the
rows,
bench,
and there,
right?
and if
Unless
you
you
are
go
in a
in the
wheelchair,
front.
you cannot get up into these stands. So I do see that as a issue that needs to be rectified. But one of the items I'm bringing up is that we built the field for the players, and we built it for the safety of the players. Do I feel bad because of the viewing issue that we have? I honestly do, but I don't think an option of taking down the pads is an option that should be discussed. That it is one of the state-of-the-art facilities that we have. A lot of other schools look at it and compliment and say, we should be doing this way. And yes, I don't think it was a design flaw. I think it was an issue that we've never gone through before putting up pads, that it's something that was overlooked, and it was overlooked, but not just the design firm, but everyone else that had a piece into it. So it's not pointing a finger at one place, it's pointing a finger at everybody that had something to do with it. We're included in that. But in my opinion, I just don't think the pads should come down because it is a safety issue. But also it's not as an easy thing of, oh, just take the pads down, because then you have to reconfigure what are you gonna put back up. There's no chain link fence above the pads right now. It's a netting type. So you're gonna have to re-engineer something that no matter what, there is going to be a price tag attached to it. Where that price tag is, it really depends on what we decide as the commission, because it is our parcel of land. It is up to us, but we will work with other departments of coming up with ideas. But again, me speaking in as a commissioner, you're all more than welcome to have your own opinion, but I am not in favor of taking the pads down.
I agree.
as an option.
I think that leaves the town open to a lawsuit, because it is a safety thing, so. A ball comes flying and knocks somebody's teeth out, or a bat,
Mhm.
or I just think it's safe, it's for safety, it needs to stay up.
Definitely.
Do we?
No, I was just wondering if there are other options to accommodate the request.
Yes.
How do we?
And that's why I was gonna let Stacy jump in, because she has had a few meetings.
So, DPW has been working internally with their engineering, coming up with different options. We haven't had the second internal meeting, but they have come up with options ranging from very little money to a whole lot of six-figure money, depending on what it is. You know, safety is always first in my book too, but I think we also have to be aware that none of our other fields have these pads, so I don't know that we can say, well, we have to keep them because it's the safety of the players, because it's literally the only field in town that has. All the rest of our fields have chain link fence, so we have to wanna make sure whether it's moving the benches, the stands, or taking out some of the pads. I agree with Chris. I think taking out some of the pads is gonna be difficult because there is no fence back there, so it would be a cost. I haven't looked at the numbers with a fine tooth comb. I just glanced at them and realized what the range was, and it's pretty.
Are we talking 50,000, 100,000?
No, it's like somewhere between 30 and 120.
Okay.
So,
It's big.
so
Big
it
number.
could be big depending on what it all comes down to. And, you know, the plan, I talked to Katie King, is to have an internal meeting. And then obviously if there is a financial need for money, then basically it comes back to the commission to make that decision on, is this something that you want to spend our money on, the money in our funds?
So if we take the pads out, there is a cost to putting fence up, is that correct?
Yes.
So there is a cost if we take the pads out.
Yes.
And if we leave the pads up, then it means there are certain people in wheelchairs who will not be able to really be a spectator.
And
From behind,
if you
like,
are,
From
a-
behind, right,
if you are a vertically challenged human being, you can't see the batter's box if you're, unless you're standing on the top row. Like it's an interesting design. I personally, and this is my
Mhm.
personal opinion, I hate stands behind the backstop, but I was also a catcher and I don't like them. So moving them somewhere else and making a path is always gonna be my choice, but I have a very specific thought
Right.
process on it.
but that's not inexpensive to move those stands, right? They were
That would probably be on
designed-
the lower spectrum to move.
Or raise them.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different things.
We can explore other time.
But-
Yes.
Oh, yeah, just,
Yeah, but the conversations that you're having in the internal meeting to talk about options,
Yes.
that's assuming both options to either move, like to move the stands or to remove the pads, or are we saying we don't want to move the pads and we will only open to talking about?
I wanna-
If
Yeah.
I remember correctly, there was 4 different options.
Okay,
I can't tell you exactly what they are without digging, go back in my
Yeah,
email.
but it's not just. what's
It's
the
not
cost for
one or
both
the other.
pads. Okay.
Mhm. Right, correct, there
So
are.
there's there's like,
That's-
raise the stands, move the stands, add this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
All
this
stands.
part off, take, add this part, so there's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Could, and again, not to put the cart before the horse, whatever option does get chosen, and say it's in the mid-range, 75,000, just as a number. When we had Dave Davis and Katie King and Kate Fitzpatrick here last week, or last meeting, where we had talked about if we ever need to for. I don't say emergencies, but if say something breaks with the pool, we could use possibly the athletic field fund to help pay for that cost. Would this be something that could be eligible for if a cost comes in, that we could use those funds for it?
I think we would have to ask that question.
Okay.
I don't know that answer, but it's certainly.
I mean, it seems like it could be a viable option of, instead of draining one bucket into something that we're, hey, this is our backup type of thing, this could be an exact, instance to use that.
So the
So,
next step, we'll wait for decision from the internal.
We're playing that game of who's available when to schedule the meeting,
Okay,
because it's across 4 different departments.
okay, so for the commission,
Sure.
you wait.
So you wait until after our meeting and then we may be presenting it to you.
and there's
They
no
might be presenting.
specific timeline, there's not like, oh, this has got to be done by April
There's
first.
not a chance we're gonna get this done before the season,
Got it,
and so it's no longer like a super big push as it was in the fall.
but it is something, yeah,
It
Okay.
is something they wanna get done, and ideally we do it in the off season, but it's not gonna get done.
Okay.
I don't think we can make.
And it
done
may
before.
be that the field plays a little differently than we anticipate, and there'll be something different that we'll want to do.
sure,
You're not going to do something at your house and it lives differently than you
Mhm.
expected.
Mhm.
definitely. So, okay, that's all I got.
Just-
Cindy's number
just,
2, go ahead.
Just, this actually is not new, just to be sure, we had, Stephanie Foreman here tonight, so the Newman Playground, will that be on our?
I added it to our discussion items.
Okay,
right
and
above
maybe-
disc golf, so
Maybe we can talk about playgrounds overall, like what our plans are for the next playground,
Yes.
because if Newman wasn't the one that was up next or whatever, then we can talk about, that order. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Right now.
No, next
Oh,
meeting,
I was like,
next meeting.
yeah, we need to add it.
Got a place to be?
I actually do.
All right, so I think it's great that we have the calendar up for, I'm sorry, is there anything else? No? All right, let's move on to, looking at our next meeting, can we confirm that that is the League of Women Voters night?
Yeah. something like that.
Because if it is, that's more deserving to be up there for the League of Women Voters.
It is that night, Broad Meadow Elementary School.
Okay. I might even have a conflict myself too, so,
why don't I
Well,
send out,
We
would it,
wouldn't have a forum.
would it be helpful if I sent out a doodle poll, because our
Yes.
next meeting needs to be rescheduled
Yes.
as well?
okay,
Yes.
And so I can send out a doodle poll for
Great
something in
idea.
the middle of
Mhm.
those 2 meetings.
Oh, because then the following.
Would
then
be
we start
the-
running
Page,
into
yeah.
town meeting and stuff, right?
Well,
Oh,
the
no, we're running
April
to
14th
Patriots Day.
Be Patriots Day, so I'll send out a doodle poll.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Patriots Day a holiday for the town office?
It is.
It is.
Yes,
Mhm.
all right. I'll make a motion to end the meeting, unless anybody has anything
No,
else.
it's okay to make up some stuff, sir. So, all right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
think that you.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Jim,
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Dina.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Thank you all very much. Meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a great.